Hello. The study we are going to present today is Manifestation of the Traditional Knowledge System of Water, a case of Kuchaman Fort, Rajasthan, India. To roughly browse through the order of our presentation today, firstly, our approach and methodology of study, learning from secondary study, that is, traditional knowledge system of water and the built form that supports them. Further getting into the geographic context of our study, the traditional water structures of Rajasthan. And lastly, our primary case, traditional rainwater harvesting system at Kochaman Fort and the potential of this system as sustainable alternative to the current system employed in the city. This research is based on a documentation exercise done by the author of Louis I. Khan Trophy, NASA India, submitted by SPA Bhopal. Here's a poem by late Sri Anupam Mishra, a renowned environmentalist and water conservationist, on traditional water structures of Rajasthan, the translation of which is: Hundreds and thousands of tanks did not appear from nothing. Behind its making, there was one who envisioned them, and 10 who manifested them. With these ones and tens came hundreds and thousands. In the last 2 centuries, with a little learned from the new knowledge, the society has dissolved these ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands into nothing. The paper aims to explore the potential of revival of traditional water system through the study of two heritage structures of the city of Kucham, the Kuchaman Fort and the Rathi Haveli, in a reference to the system. Coming down to the objectives of the study, it focuses upon the working and efficiency of traditional rainwater harvesting system, the spatial strategies that supports this system, and the attributes and value systems associated with the traditional water management system. The flowchart here displays our approach to the study. The first column has the domain of secondary study, criteria for the selection of the case, and the objectives. The method includes mapping the network of the water structures and tentative calculations of their harvesting and holding capacities to present the working and efficiency of the system. Studying architectural elements and planning strategies of the fort to understand the built form that supports them. And also the studying of the lifestyle and cultural norms of the community in relation to the traditional system to understand its significance for the continuity of the knowledge system. The inferences drawn from the study puts forward a set of principles that could help develop a context-specific design of rainwater harvesting system for the large settlement of the region. A brief study of traditional water system in various regions of India has also been done, like networks of bamboo channels in north and northeastern region that source water from glacial streams. The Kannad system, rainwater harvesting system in region with saline groundwater, etc., highlight design of structure that take advantages of the geographical context that they are set in. Zooming into our region of study, Rajasthan. Scorching sun and scanty rain makes the state of Rajasthan a tough place to live in. Water scarcity and saline groundwater incentivized a system, indigenous knowledge system of rain water harvesting in the region. The graphic shows two of the traditional water structures commonly spotted in the region, which can be viewed as the manifestation of an ever-evolving knowledge of water management. Scarcity of water in this region has led to the development of an array of techniques to harvest rainwater, orchestrating an artificial ecosystem. Their architecture revolves around the elements of water, like its source, whether it is groundwater, rainwater, or runoff, its quality, and its quantity. A profound reverence to the resource is rooted in their culture, where the people have more than 44 names for clouds based on their shape, type, and character. The system is supported by components that are conceptually categorized into 4 mechanisms: the agor, or the catchment that harvests rainwater, sikora, or earthen cups fitted together to create piping to channel the harvested water, a kund, or tank that stores the collected water, and a charkhi, or a pulley system used to draw and distribute the water. The components used in water system takes up different forms as they are designed for the geophysical context of the place. This particular graphic shows the water system at different thresholds within a settlement. First, at an individual level, a tank stores rainwater collected from the terrace catchment that provides for a family's annual requirement. At a communal level, larger tanks sponsored by the rich, built and maintained by the community, acted as a center for social life, accommodating small festivities. At a public level, larger water structures built by rulers stored water that could provide for the requirement of the entire settlement. The decentralized network of water structure in traditional settlements ensured the communities were resilient against any climatic anomalies. These water structures have a social and cultural layering that makes it a part of their daily life and ensures continuity. A commemoration aspect, where the rich who invested in construction in return acquires social status and this practice guaranteed a renewed patronage. A mass communication aspect, where animal statues were designed on retaining walls to communicate water level to masses. A recreation aspect, as these spaces become spaces for social life. A cultural aspect, tattoo as seen in the image, folklore, and songs. These water structures also have an element of sacredness attached to them. Religious aspect, where temples are built adjacent to the water structure to keep the premises clean. Sacredness associated with the water drawers chambers, as seen from the case of Rathi Haveli, where a person isn't allowed to enter the chamber without proper hygiene. Restricted areas to surface that act as catchments. Coming down to our primary study, Kuchaman, a town of Nagaur, Rajasthan, was a Jagir or a vassal under the erstwhile Marwar kingdom. Considered as one of the most impressive fortresses of Rajasthan, Kuchaman Fort was first fortified to control salt-producing areas of the region. It later expanded to accommodate a military barrack, a royal complex, and service and public areas. The traditional knowledge system of managing water is a prime example of the fortress' adaptiveness to its surrounding. It is located on the leeward edge of Aravalli Mountain, and the saline groundwater incentivized a system of rainwater harvesting within the fort. For ease of understanding, the fort is divided into four zones: defense zone with the military barracks, the royal zone or ranavas with the royal residences, temples and leisure spaces, the ancillary areas with the services spaces and the public zone. The water system, which is of the fort, can be observed in three aspects: rainwater harvesting system, water for ornamentation, and water for thermal comfort. 13 out of 15 tanks of the fort are still standing, as highlighted in the image. Strategic placement of the tank in proximity to the built form in each zone reduce physical activity for supply of water. The tanks are designed with carrying capacities meeting requirements of the activities in each zone. All the surface of the fort act as a catchment, generating a web of tank that taps all rainwater. Placement of tanks follows the contour of the hills, ensuring that the overflow of one tank goes into another tank. The type of tank, opened or closed, define the quality of water it provides, and hence the distribution of open and closed tank in a zone goes with the requirement of potable and non-potable water. The image here is a section of Zone 1 of the fort with the network of tanks, 3 underground and 1 open, constructed along the slope of the hill to allow the overflow of one tank to be channeled to another. Water from the initial monsoon that cleans the catchment is collected into open tank 3, which inlets of tank 1 and 2 blocked. The subsequent shower are first collected in the tank 1, where the impurities are sedimented, and the tank 2 stores its surplus. The surplus of tank 2 can be diverted to tank 3 or tank 4 via diverters as shown in the detail, depending upon the need of military barracks. These are 4 different tanks from the fort that highlights design feature. Designed with the principle of sedimentation in mind, most impurities in those times were natural, non-toxic, and could be easily filtered by sedimentation. These tanks were often assisted by small sedimentation tanks. Each tank has a distinct geometry. Smaller tanks are cuboidal. Tanks with more considerable depth have stepped retaining wall, while ones with vaulted roof supported tanks with larger surface area. Carrying capacity, topography, and soil strata define the geometry of the tank. They were designed to limit evaporative losses. There is a varying ratio of depth to the surface area of the structure. Lowering surface area limits evaporative losses. They designed for the ease of the maintenance also. The lower surface area at the bottom makes cleaning sediments from the tank floor easier. They were designed for frugal use. Driven by cultural notions of the frugal use, they are categorized. They, there are tanks that store fresh water for primary needs and tanks that store reusable water for secondary needs. In the land where availability of water is scarce, it is arresting to witness ornamental use of water. Chadar water lamina, an ornamental feature where an entire courtyard is converted into a pool with laminated with sheets of water falling from the overhang. Fountains operated using traditional pipings. And this is how it looks. The design of Hawa Mahal or the Palace of Wind is centered on using water to maximize thermal comfort. The balcony of this summer palace is oriented in the prevailing wind direction to capture the summer wind. When hot afternoon air strikes the closed balcony doors, it carries the evaporated water from a small basin on the balcony floor along the apsidal surface. The shape of the balcony facilitates airflow towards the window. The window generates low pressure at the apsidal and creates a surge of cool breeze into the room. The air that strikes the apsidal surface moves along the vortex formed at the apsidal ends. It then joins the wind at the inlet aperture. Thus, the balcony directs all the moisture inside the room. This is a common man's residence inside the fort, which was studied to document the rainwater harvesting system that has been in continuation till date. This 150-year-old courtyard-style mansion is equipped with a water system which is the same as that used inside the fort. From image A, you can see the water collected from the roof is directed to the gutter outlets connected to the down pipes, fixed and diverter valve-like device used to drain water from the first shower. Once the roof is clean, the valve is closed. The water from the subsequent shower is collected into the tanks through the inlet chamber. The inlet chamber consists of two sections, a sedimentation chamber where impurities settle at the bottom and allow clear water to flow into the second chamber. Water in the second chamber flows through two filters before entering the storage unit, that is a tanka. So these are the few images from the Haveli, and that is the downpipes collecting water from the roof acting as a catchment, followed by view of the roof catchment and inlet chambers with the sedimentation and filtration chambers. A quantitative analysis of the traditional rainwater harvesting system in the fort and Rathi Haveli has been done to emphasize its efficiency. Based on the annual rainfall of the region, the rainwater harvesting system in the fort provides for a population of 250 people for over a year. The system, if revived, can provide water for 180 people for nearly 6 months as per the present requirement of the Heritage Hotel. In the case of Rathi Haveli, the rainwater harvested serves potable water to the family for over 18 months. The numerical evidence from the two cases suggests that the revival of the traditional water system could provide to be sustainable alternative to the existing system. The traditional system underlines certain principles, and these principles have the potential to be incorporated into the contemporary practice, and they are: catch every drop of water from where it falls, decentralized water system, inclusive design, social and cultural layering to the develop integrated mechanism. The numerical evidence from the two cases suggests that the revival of this traditional water system could provide to be sustainable alternative to the existing system. So we can conclude that traditional knowledge systems were developed to provide all necessities of life in a specific region. To achieve that, extensive research has been done for a specific area in regards to the climate, hydrology, soil, flora, fauna, materials, etc. This knowledge was woven into the culture to ensure survival and developed into identity. Through the study of Kuchaman Fort and Rati Haveli, one realizes its quantitative efficiency and simple timelessness. The solution to the climate crisis we are facing is with us, within our traditional wisdom. We need to introspect deeper. Since each region is unique, their problem and solution would also be contextual. Thank you.